guys, it's Jen again, and in this video, Steve's going to show you how to look for aquatic insects.
Alright, hi. So here we are today to talk about collecting aquatic insects. There's a bunch of places you can do this. I'm here at a small stream with a rocky bottom. You can look at a small stream, a bigger river, you can look in a pond or in a lake in still water. There's different ways to do this. If you're in still water, you probably want to use a net. This is actually my aerial sweep net, and this is not what I would use normally in water. You can get away with it if you're careful. The problem is with a net like this, if you sweep through the water too quickly, or if you catch it on branches, things like that, or rocks, you could tear the nets. You want to be careful. Use this very gently in the water. If you're collecting a lot of aquatics, it's worthwhile using a heavier, stouter net. You can get nets that are made for collecting in water. I won't use this here because this is shallow water. It's much easier, so throw that away. And here, all we need to do is basically pick up a rock and see what's living on it or under it. So I'm going to grab a couple likely looking rocks and come a bit towards the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, I like this one. And I'm going to grab another one. Often looking for flattish rocks that are sitting kind of horizontal, but any rock will do. Let me come towards the camera a bit without falling over. Okay, I got a couple of rocks, and I'm going to show you on the surface of this one. I can already see several different kinds of insects. I can see some that are in little rocky cases, so they're not moving, but you can see this little case made of a bunch of rocks kind of glued together by the insect. That's an insect inside there. I won't tell you what it is, I know, but you don't yet. So pick it off and put it in a vial to take home. If you turn it over, I can see there's a little wriggly guy here. As I touch him, you see he's moving on the surface of the stone. You can grab him also with your tweezers or your fingers, put him in your vial again, bring him home. Look for different kinds of insects. There's another one over there crawling on the rock. I'll look at my second rock, and this little one. This is not a great rock. I see almost nothing on this one, and that makes the point. You should not just stop at one rock, but look around, see what you can get. And you should pay attention to different habitats. Just like collecting anywhere in the water, you'll see different habitats. Let me back up a little bit here so I don't fall in. So here I'm in shallow water with lots of big flat rocks. This is a great place to look, but you can also look in slightly deeper water. You can look in water that has big rocks versus small ones. You can look in on stones versus on, let's say, decaying wood or soft bottoms. And as I mentioned before, you can look in moving water like this versus standing water like a pond or a lake. Now, of course, there's one more thing we should talk about, and that, of course, is safety. If you're collecting around water or in water, please think about safety. If you're in a small stream like this, primarily think about the fact that things are slippery. Don't fall and crack your head. In a larger stream or a river, you may actually need to think about the current and not getting yourself in a place where if you slip and fall, the current could actually pull you away. Stay away from fast-flowing big rivers. In still water, ponds and lakes, again, primarily, just don't fall in. And when you're collecting in or near water, it's a great idea to collect with someone. To collect with a friend, a family member, a classmate. Just make sure, of course, to maintain appropriate physical distancing as you do. Collecting bugs in water is lots of fun. There's lots to be found, lots of different species, lots of different groups. And they're found late into the fall, into October, November, when other insects are hard to come by. This is a great habitat, very productive. Have fun.
So the stream I shot that video in didn't have these, at least not this time of year, but this is another habitat you should look for. This is what we call a leaf pack. And at the upper left, you can see it's basically just an accumulation of dead leaves that are hung up on a rock or on some sticks. And what you'll find is if you pull that apart, it's one more place you can look for bugs. At the lower right, you can see that someone's pulled one apart, and you can actually see several different kinds of insects on there. Towards the top of the picture, you can see what looks like a little triangular shelter made of bits of leaf. There's an insect inside that. Towards the middle of the image, you can see a couple little shelters that are made of little bits of sand glued together. Again, there are insects inside there. Not all the insects in the pack will be in shelters like that. Some will be crawling. Just see what's there. You should look for these in rivers, especially later in the fall when this year's leaves begin to fall. You don't want to pick the very freshest ones. You want ones that have had a time to ripen a little bit. Pick them up, pick them apart, see what's there. You'll find different insects in leaf packs than you will on the surface of rocks. So get you some more different stuff. Have fun.
All right, so this has been how to look for aquatic insects.